Our next speaker launched and sold his first software company at 19 years old. Then he wrote a book on how he grew so fast. You bought 30,000 copies, making it an instant Wall Street Journal bestseller. His podcast became the most downloaded founder podcast in the world, with 3,800 interviews and 50 million downloads. After interviewing thousands of founders, he noticed something. Too many great founders were giving up too much ownership. So in 2020, he launched a fund to help founders grow without giving up equity. When Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, founders needed capital fast. He stepped in and deployed $40 million in a single weekend. Today, he's funded more than 700 software companies and become the most active software investor in the world. This year alone, he'll deploy $300 million to founders who want to grow and keep control. Please welcome to the stage an exited founder, a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, and the CEO of Founderpath. Please put your hands together for Nathan Latka.
Igor is trying to get rid of my pet bird. I'm like, come on, let's leave this in here. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Before we jump in, this conversation is a lot about growing your distribution and media. And so what I'd like for you to do just for the first 60 seconds is turn to the neighbor on the left of you and just talk about any kind of media that you're launching, whether it's a podcast, YouTube, newsletter, just to get familiar with each other. When I put my hand up like this, it means stop. Just put your hand up as well, and the room will go quiet in about 60 seconds. So go ahead, please, talk to your neighbor. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. All right, you guys ready to go? You ready to go? The hand trick didn't work. We ready? We ready? Everyone's going viral. That would be the easiest keynote ever, right? I just say talk to your neighbor and then leave the stage for 30 minutes, right? Look, 2 years ago, if you had a great SaaS product, you could buy ads, hire SDRs, and do content, and you would grow. Everything has changed today, right? When we look at what's happening, AI is making content free, outreach is commoditized, and buyers trust almost nothing. So what does that mean for us? It ultimately means that attention, not product, is now the bottleneck. I learned this the hard way in 2015 when I sold my first software company called Heyo.com. It had grown to about $1 million bootstrapped of revenue and then flatlined because I couldn't figure out how to drive growth. So I sold the thing, and it wasn't sexy. I sold for a 0.5x revenue multiple. Is this a good multiple or a bad multiple? Yeah. Pretty bad. For an American, it's extra bad, right? We want to talk about 40x multiples. Really bad, right? So I sold it. I said, I will never let growth be a challenge for Nathan Latka ever again. And I went on over the next 10 years to spend gobs of money to run tons of experiences or experiments. And over the next 27 minutes and 28 seconds, we're going to go through those 9 different experiences, bucketed into 3 sections of 8 minutes each. The first 8 minutes is going to be helping you guys capture attention. The next 8 minutes is going to be helping you multiply that attention using AI. And the last 8 minutes will be about you guys turning that attention into trust and ultimately converting it to cold, hard cash. This guy, you like cash, don't you? I can just feel it. He's like leaning in. Cold, hard cash, okay? Anyone see a tactic up here that you've tried? Just raise your hand. Whether it's YouTube, SEO, LinkedIn, email list, large events. Anyone dabbling in these? Hi. I'm just curious. Hi. Okay. All right, good. So we have a good mix. So let's jump in. Section 1. I've built into this whole keynote 9 of my most powerful marketing prompts I use. Now, I've purposely cut these off, so even if you take a picture now, you won't get the full thing, which means you have to pay attention. That's how it works. Section 1, we're going to talk about podcast. How did I launch the show and grow it to 20 million downloads very quick? And why the hell is my line going down so quickly now? I'll tell you why. Number 2, we'll talk about launching YouTube series and what actually makes them go viral from a psychological perspective. Does clipping actually work? And lastly, case study 3 out of 9 will be about LinkedIn strategy. Let's jump into section 1, which is how to build a podcasting machine, right? First off, this is a lot of interviews. We've done over 3,800 interviews. The first thing I'll share with you about podcasting is if you're not going to commit to doing at least 100, don't start. Because you just are not going to get a lot of views in the first 100. It took me a couple hundred before we really started to take off and grow. It led to a $180,000 sponsorship, was my first sponsor on the show, and a big book deal. So let me show you guys what I use on this. The first question I get with podcasts is, Nathan, how do you prep? This is the prompt I use in Claude before I'm interviewing any guest. I only prep for 5 minutes. And those of you that have good eyes can kind of squeeze in there and look at what the prompt actually says. But I want to show you the most important thing. It's the third bullet point down here if you can read it. And the reason the third bullet point down is the most important is because the only way you're going to rank, your show's going to rank or go viral, is if you discover some new piece of content or data the internet doesn't already know. If you teach the foundation model something, you become the source of truth. So for those of you that can't read, what that third bullet point says is, tell me the full background of this founder and all their metrics, but most importantly, tell me what the internet doesn't already know about them. That one prompt is something you guys can take from this talk and get tons of value. Whatever your niche is, whoever you're interviewing, the prompt is, what does the internet not already know about them? And if you collect that live, your transcript from the podcast becomes a massive asset. Let me show you what that means. When I was preparing many years ago to interview the founder of ClickUp, you see down here, nobody has published ClickUp's net revenue retention, gross retention, churn rate, EBITDA margins, profitability, free cash flow, and burn rate. So when Zeb Evans came on my podcast, what do you think I asked him? I said, Zeb, nice to meet you. What's your burn rate? How much cash do you have in the bank? He's like, who the hell is this guy? What is this guy doing? This aggressive American. He's American too, so I can say that. Right, so Zeb came on, I got the full recording, I hit copy the transcript. This is now we get into the gold. The transcript is the gold. There's so much valuable data stuck in transcripts. Right, so what do we then do with the transcript? This is the prompt I put in Claude. The transcript is attached. Right? Summarize all the financial numbers and growth tactics I collected live from the CEO of ClickUp. That's not enough, though. It spits out the full list. We then take this full list of all the new stuff I learned from Zeb that the internet didn't already know about ClickUp. Chris, I hope you don't mind. I'm just dumping. I'm going Zeb all in right now. Right? So all the revenue on ClickUp, right? All the data, all the valuations, goes on YouTube, 43,000 views. Now, this was working even 4 years ago. It just took me much longer to run this process 4 years ago because there wasn't AI. It's much faster now. So interview goes live, and then we record. The other mistake people make is you let people book on your podcast calendars at random times. It's very difficult to stay motivated when you have random switching costs. You should batch your interviews like this. Just a 2-hour block or 3-hour block once a week and make people pick in a slot so you can be focused for that hour. The tools I use to execute my podcast strategy are these 3 tools. If you want to copy the same tools I use, it's Acuity Scheduling to book, Riverside to record, and Claude to help me prepare. Moving forward, this is the prompt that you want to copy. And again, I'll give you all the prompts at the end, but this is the prompt you want to copy to ultimately run this tactic, which is research the founder full history, find the data gaps in the LLMs, generate those 10 viral questions, and then optimize for YouTube discovery. When you do this well, your podcast doesn't have to be a cost center. It can be a massive revenue driver. This was my first sponsor. You can see HostGator paid $180,000. This was signed in 2017, so a year and a half after the first episode. And the trick for everyone is do not sell your sponsorships on a CPM basis. Sell it on a cost per lead basis. So HostGator, what are you willing to pay for a lead? $1,000. I said, great. Pay $180,000 and I'll guarantee you 180 leads. Deal. Right? CPM basis, I wasn't big enough to make this kind of money. That's like good money for a podcast. I was too small to be charging it on a CPM basis. Do cost per lead. This also then led to a book deal, and people say, Nathan, how did you sell 30,000 copies and hit the Wall Street Journal bestseller list? I emailed all the CEOs I had on the podcast, and I sent them a sponsorship one-pager and said, I'll mention you in your interview in my book if you pre-purchase $20,000 worth of books. I took those signed invoices to publishers and said, I already know I'm going to sell. It's already going to be a bestseller. I've already pre-sold 30,000 books. Do you want to give me an advance to write the book for you? Before a word was written. It did very well. Every major airport in the U.S., NASDAQ, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, number 3 as a brand new author, very young, beating Brene Brown, Dave Ramsey, James Clear, Atomic Habits. My point here is not to brag, it's to tell you that you don't have to think about your podcast as a cost center. As it grows over time and compounds, it can be a massive, massive revenue driver. Case study number 2 here, setting up your SEO buckets before you produce any single episode. In 2017, I started experimenting with these Facebook Watch videos. And those of you up front, maybe you can see the view numbers. I'll circle them for you. For those of you that can't see, that's 1.7, 1.8, 1.2 million views per episode. Very little production. It's me with a selfie camera walking into random companies in Austin, Texas, trying to buy them or invest on the spot. Most of them told me to fuck off. They always went viral, right? Especially when I got turned down. You have to be vulnerable in these situations to really go viral. Now, this did so well, a development company reached out. I signed with CAA, and this is the actual contract I signed to put the show on cable with CNBC. Those of you in the front row can back me up, so the ones in the back don't know I'm lying, but you can see here, artists shall receive $15,000 for each episode. So I went from spending money to produce shows, now I'm getting paid, and it's on CNBC. Again, just another example of you can actually generate and have your media be a massive profit center. Every SaaS company should build and own their distribution channels like this. Now, I relaunched this after I sold it to CNBC recently on the deal, and look, this is the early days. This is just a screenshot from yesterday. You see these views? This 284 views. Like, oh, so embarrassing. Hit to my ego. Well, some of them also pop. This one has 141,000 views, right? But the place only has 4,000 subscribers. It's a new show we launched to go attract CPG and brick-and-mortar brands because we're now at Founderpath investing in those kinds of companies. I show you this just to tell you that if you get the psychology right and you commit to doing at least 100 episodes, I can almost guarantee you will have one of those early ones hit. You learn from it and then do more of it. Right? So how have we structured this from an SEO perspective? This is my database schema for programmatic SEO from the transcripts from the deal you just saw. The whole idea is I wanted to rank for keywords like seasonal business financing, right? Or restaurant equipment financing. So when I do these shows, I'm specifically asking, what do you want to use the money for? And they say equipment financing for an ice cream machine. The transcript then becomes SEO gold. I take the transcript, publish it on Founderpath, dump it into the 9 programmatic SEO buckets that I want to rank for, whether it's menu and concept development, marketing, customer acquisition. The point is you have to set up your SEO buckets, your traffic buckets, before you record the first episode so you know what the hell you're doing. Otherwise, you're just shooting content that's going to be useless. You're going to get demotivated and you're going to quit. You're going to stop publishing. This guy's like, I can't take pictures fast enough. I'm just going to record the whole damn thing. Raise your hand. This is a smart man. VC should give him all the money. This is a smart man. All right, I have to be careful what I share. Look, once you scale, then you can bring in a real crew, right? Do the whole thing. Do the full crew. These are the tools I use to produce the YouTube show. Conductor sets up the SEO schema. I write code in Conductor and upload the transcripts. It publishes to founderpath.com. Frame.io is where I do all the video editing and feedback with my editing team on the deal. This is the prompt that I use to set up that SEO schema. I've put brackets in where you'd stick in your niche. And again, I'll give you this full prompt so you can actually copy and paste it at the end. So again, this is your YouTube flywheel. Moving forward into case study number 3 out of 9, we've got about 18 minutes left together. I want to talk about LinkedIn. The key thing about LinkedIn, when most of us use LinkedIn, we try to tell and market our full product, but the best storytellers are actually really good at keeping the important stuff out. It's not about telling your full story, it's about telling just enough to make people so curious they can't stop looking. Right? And that's the key. Less is more. And so this is a LinkedIn post that I did, but I want to show you a more programmatic one. Again, talking through the podcast concept as the original piece. So we're recording in Riverside here, new podcast interview. In the transcript over here on the left, I'm going to suck out the most important piece of the transcript, the CEO quote, right? He's never shared revenue before. Google loves this. It's the only source on the internet where it's the CEO confirming his revenue live. You can imagine what that does for our SERP rankings. We just dominate the SERP rankings for this company's keyword plus the word revenue, which brings us traffic. So what do we then do with this, right? We want to then clip that out right here with a hook at the start. I thought I knew every 100 million CEO. Krenar shocked me. There's the see more button. You see the expansion. And I'm highlighting the key metrics I captured that I know the internet doesn't already have on Krenar, because then this will rank. You see what I'm saying? Now, this doesn't have to get 1,000 comments for it to work for you guys. If you get a small group of targeted folks is worth much more than a large audience of idiots, right? This is important. Okay? So CEOs watch this 36 comments, and again, these clips go out, and then you can put a clipping army behind it if you want. Now, people say, Nathan, how do you book guests? I'm going to pause and sip water while you see. This is literally how I booked him 2 weeks ago. It's that simple. That's a bad angle. Do you get a double chin there? No, give me a tricep? No, okay. Okay, good. This guy's hired. Leo, I'm stealing this guy. So you guys see there, right? It starts off public, and then immediately move into the DMs, right? He says, yes, we start recording. So the tools I use for this, Riverside for recording, Submagic to do clipping. Those are the tools I use for that strategy. That's the prompt that I use, right? Take the transcript, summarize the financial numbers, include the timestamp and the data point. I'm going to use this figure to figure out how to tell a great story on LinkedIn, right? And I'll show you where I drop this. Again, this is what your LinkedIn flywheel can look like when it really scales. Okay, so summing up section 1, we've got about 15 minutes left. We just jumped into the podcast flywheel, the YouTube show, and LinkedIn. Those of you just joining, we've got 6 more case studies left. And what we're going to focus on first is number 4, repurposing with AI. SEO, GEO engine, and an email list. This section is all about multiplying your content with AI, tools that we all have available now that we didn't have a year ago. Let's talk about AI repurposing first. Let's stick on Chris and Zeb here at ClickUp for a second. We've got the interview. How do I put this in an email format that gets a very high open rate and 2,000-3,000 clicks when I send it? Well, this is what we do. We put the episode obviously live on iTunes, right? We take that transcript. This is a tool called Glimph, G-L-Y-M-P-H. When you install it on your YouTube, it allows you to copy and paste the transcript from anything on YouTube, even other people's episodes. So I take the transcript, right? I drop it into a project file on Claude. Who's using projects on Claude? Raise your hand. Okay, good, so everybody knows. Okay, you have to train the brain. If you have shitty things in your brain, this is the brain, these are the project files, it's a master.md file basically. If you have a shitty brain, you're going to have a shitty output. You've got to train and make sure your files are good, right? So then I say, and I prompt, right, write an email with 3 sections. Now notice, I have all these good headlines. Those good headlines were created because I connected Claude to my HubSpot and said, look at all my past 1,000 email sends from the past 5 years. Which one's got the highest open and click-through rate? Build an MD file describing what sort of keyword combinations work for my subject lines. That's a really good piece to put into your brain in Claude if you're using it for marketing, right? And then you need to create the visual assets because these are what can go viral or get shared. So we plot ClickUp's revenue growth on a line. We plot valuation and fundraising. And this is all tied directly back to Zeb's voice on the show at some point, right? This is what it looks like actually on the Get Latka site. Now, when you do this, and you do this all through that repeatable prompt library, this is the kind of clicks it can generate. Now, look, that's only 1,200 clicks to Zeb's episode, but that's only via Google search, organic. That doesn't include ChatGPT traffic, Claude traffic. It doesn't include traffic and views directly on YouTube, 40,000 views, right? So imagine this, now spread that across 3,800 interviews. Right, you start to see where that really takes off. Right? So this is, again, the repeatable library you want to build. These are all the tools that I use behind this system. Right? Claude, Whisper, voice to text everywhere, Riverside, and Submagic. Again, same tools. And then again, this is the prompt. Use my Claude project files, Claude project files to write an email promotion, LinkedIn post, and feed into the Latka structured SEO playbook. So this is the AI repurposing flywheel specifically for that one asset, creating the visual layer, and then building that prompt library. Let's jump into case study number 5 here. So when you do this well, this is what it can look like all together. Now you guys can see here, it's a search console. The upper right, how many clicks is that? It's 1 million clicks. How many of you guys do cost per click advertising? Raise your hand. Any paid ad folks? Okay. Like $5, $10 a click depending on the keyword? 2, okay. Depends, right? Chris? $7? If you can get the traffic and clicks for free, and it's $7 a click, this tactic you're about to learn in the next 60 seconds is worth $7 million. I think you paid Leo $500 to be here, right? That's a good return. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right. So first, again, pick the search query before you record your first podcast. I knew I wanted to dominate the programmatic keyword combination of the company name of the guest I was interviewing plus the word revenue. That was going to be my thing. You all have to have your thing in your niche. A high traffic SEO keyword, right? Once you do that, I then take, now you're looking at my backend in getlatka.com, which is my podcast site. We built this custom. So we take the script, it's connected to Sonnet 4.6, we click extract, and what that extract button does is it sucks out every quote Zeb gave in the live interview from the transcript with the timestamp. So you know it's 100% accurate. Google knows it's accurate if you're literally quoting the CEO. This is how we dominate for the keyword ClickUp revenue in all their SERP results, including the video. We own 100% of the real estate when you search for ClickUp revenue, right, on YouTube, on Google. This then again builds those visual layers here, all tied back to the voice data point. Okay, again, this is another example where we interviewed ARC Ads. We dominate the real estate for the video. We dominate the real estate for all the SEO. This is the most valuable real estate on the internet, and we basically own 100% of the town. That's how you should think about it. Start off with a SERP, then 1, then 3 over here is the least valuable real estate, right? The video. Okay? Same thing when you put it, when you search what is FlipCX revenue or any company I've interviewed in ChatGPT, we're always sourced, right? You're always sourced. You want to do the same thing for your industry, your business. These are the 3 tools I use for that, right? And this is the key prompt. I know, I'm going as fast as I can. Chill. All right? All right, SEO, GEO engine, that's your flywheel. Okay, let's jump into number 6. We've got 3 more case studies after this. Transcripts into emails that convert. Let's stick with the Zeb example for a second, but it could also be Paddle. I had Christian on when they were just breaking 10 million of revenue in 2018, or FlipCX, or even Udo. I had Udo on when he was still at about $2 million of MRR. They're now at like 600 million. Right? These are all valuable transcripts that get a lot of traffic today. You already saw the prompt in terms of the headlines to write the email. You see the output, so it's giving me headlines, subject lines that it knows my audience will open a lot. We're optimizing for like a 45% open rate on our email. That's a great open rate for us. And then this is what the actual email looks like. Remember, I told you about creating the visual layer. You just copy and paste it into the email. You can do this programmatically now. We summarized the 3 growth tactics that Zeb said moved the needle the most in the interview. It just sucked right out. So I'm really a master curator. I come up with very little of my own new ideas. But curation can be very powerful. It's also the lazy way to do content because you don't have to really make up any of your own stuff. Okay, so the system I use for that is HubSpot and Claude. HubSpot and Claude. This is the prompt. Study the HubSpot data I'm giving you for my last 100 email sends. Help me understand which subject lines worked. Optimize by open rate and number of clicks generated per email. Build this into a master.md file. Those of you that are not engineers, that's the equivalent of the brain you're going to give your agent, right? A master.md file I can use to auto-write subject lines and body content in the future. All right, and that's your email interview flywheel. Okay, so here's the section 2 recap. This was all about multiplying your content with AI. We talked about repurposing, SEO, GEO, and again, scaling your email list. All right? Now, if you guys are thinking about investing in some of these tactics and you'd like capital, my full-time job is I invest at Founderpath. Right? It's a $150 million fund, and our agent actually deploys money. It will say, we'll offer you X amount of money. You can see it on the screen outside. You connect your bank, and we wire instantly in under 2 minutes. It's the first time it happened, it was scary. Okay, we haven't lost money, though, but if you're looking to raise money to invest in these strategies, I'd love to chat with you. Let's move forward here and wrap up with the last 9 case studies over the next 8 minutes. We're going to talk about webinars, small events, and large events. I'm going to pause because I know you'll retain this if I just take a deep break and let you talk to each other. Again, when I put my hand up, you guys put your hand up as well. The whole room will do that, and then it'll go quiet, and then I'll start again. So 60 seconds. Talk to your neighbors about if you're investing in any of these channels. Go ahead, please. How's the angle back there? How's the angle back there? Good? It usually works. Usually it does. Yeah, it usually works. All right. That was a lot of energy. I felt some deals go down. I get 2%, by the way. To any deals, I get 2%, okay? Should we wrap up here with 7, 8, and 9? We good? How many of you are investing in one of these channels already? Raise your hand. Hi, be proud. Okay, good. Sort of touching it. And how many of you are thinking about investing in one of these channels? Hands high. Okay. I don't know what the hell the rest of you are doing. All right, webinars. Has anyone been on any of my webinars? Raise your hand. Anybody? Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, good, cool. So you guys went out sort of feel the strategy behind it after feeling like what the front end looks like. Let's talk about webinars here. Ooh, help me out, AB. There we go. Let's go in here. All right. So this is what webinar looks like, right? Now, our webinars today, we've really amped it up. It's working so well for us. We invest about $2,000 per webinar for this full sort of production layout, but you don't have to start there, right? This started in my living room, just on my laptop, very simple Zoom recording. I'm going to show you some tactics, though, that I know most people are not doing on their webinars. They should be doing that works for us. First off, obviously, when you get the recording like this, make sure you have a back shot so that people can actually see you in a vulnerable state. Anytime you shoot the back of your head, you build trust with them. Right? Because it feels vulnerable. It's like a lion attacking its prey. Does that make sense? You want to be vulnerable on webinars. Don't just have the front angle shot the whole time. These are psychological things that you really need to think about. Right? This one did really well on YouTube. Over 500,000 people watch this, the recording. Right? So what do we do once we record? You go into Zoom and you click this button. This button is so important. Nobody's using this button. I guarantee you no one in the room is using this button. One, because Zoom makes it very difficult, but it's the most important button. What happens when you click this button? You get this. Now you look at this and go, what the hell is this thing on the what is that, your left or right side of the screen? Well, this is every message people put in the Zoom chat, not a poll, every organic, free-flowing message people put in the chat. So when I'm live, I'll say something like, I hope you guys enjoy this content. Hey, what's top of mind for you guys right now? What do you want to learn about next month? I don't want to have to come up with the ideas. Just ask your audience. Let them type, just free form. Get the text file. Now you guys know what I'm going to do with this, right? Hey, ChatGPT, the attached chat file is what my audience members were typing. When I was live, I said things like, type in chat what you want me to teach next month, right? You'll see bursts of different topics. I've also included the full webinar transcript of me talking. Can you summarize the most popular topics and give me the headline I should use on next month's webinar? Right? Boom, your content's done for you. And you know what they're worried about, right? Because they just told it to you. Okay, we then put this, and we use luma.com, same as Leo for the side events here. We use luma.com for all of our web registrations. Now, if you guys use Luma, the big thing that you're not doing on Luma that you should be doing, do you see any weird fields that I ask for here in the sign-up flow? Anything surprise you? Yes. Have you seen my presentation? No. Why did zip code feel weird to you? It is weird, right? When you guys are building your media strategy, one thing needs to feed the other. You want to tie them all together. It's how you get compounding effects. So what do you guys think I do with the zip codes? We've had 10,000 people join webinars in the past 6 months. What do I do with that? You're hired. I'll double your salary. Come hang with me. Can you please use the zip codes and the regions to plot all my attendees on a global map so I can see where I should travel next? These are my next live events. I already know who to invite because they just spent 60 minutes on a webinar with me. My event's already full. You don't have to start from scratch. Add the zip code to your webinar registration. You guys, was that cool? Yeah? Did you have a question? No? Okay. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Huh? For dating. This guy says it's good for dating. I need way more help than a Claude map for my dating life. I'm very single. If anyone's interested, I'll be outside at my sponsor booth afterwards. That's a good way to use the booth, right? Right, so that's the map. All right, and then again, you fill your in-person events, right? Start off with the zip codes. Can you fill your in-person events? These are the tools I use for the webinar strategy. Again, it's just Luma and Claude and Zoom, basically. Right, pretty straightforward there. This is the prompt that you want to copy and paste. Again, you're going to have 9 of these prompts at the end. You should copy and paste all of them. There's very valuable prompts. Right, and that's your webinar flywheel. Okay? You want to get it, you're killing it if you get a 45% show up rate on your webinars. 1,000 people register. If you get 450, you're crushing it. Right? And I don't have time to talk about how we get a high show up rate, but talk to me afterwards if you want to learn about that. All right, we have 2 case studies left. We're going to do small events and then large events, and I've got 3 minutes and 54 seconds. Let's do small events. I'm talking to 10 to 20 people per dinner. Small, curated, hyper-focused, right? Here's what I do for this. Use my Claude connector to Gmail. Scan Gmail signatures and content data to find the top 15 people I should invite to my Amsterdam local event. There's a ton of data, guys, in your inboxes, in all the signatures of everyone you've emailed. Just have that build your ICP target for you. It's like so easy. It's magical when you do it, right? Magical when you do it. Okay, and I also put it in ATTIO, A-T-T-I-O, which is the CRM that we use down here. That's then how I decide, okay, I'm flying out to Croatia. I want to go meet people locally. How should you put the agenda together, right? So that's everything we do locally is structured that way. And then in terms of getting speakers, right, at your events, how do you do that? If you need I call them an elephant, because then you can elephant bump. Everyone wants to meet the elephant. Well, Fred just raised $75 million from Excel. I really want him to come to one of our local events. So how did I do this? Well, this is basically what it looks like in the text thread, right? Love to have you come speak. We just acquired a brand. I think you're in Warsaw, but if you're around, if you're overlapping any of these cities, right, we'd love to feature you. And he said, let's do it. I can do London. Now I use him to then go fill the London event or the Amsterdam event. And again, we do all of this in Luma as well. The reason we do this in Luma compounds for you. Can you guys read this number right here? Is it big enough? This is like an email list inside of Luma, but when you send the email or the text via Luma, you don't have to worry about emails blocking you because it's on the Luma cold email infrastructure and their text messaging infrastructure. So the open and click-through rate is extremely high. Right? So again, this is compounding media inside of Luma. These are the two tools that I use. Again, my CRM is ATTIO. Again, small events, luma.com for RSVP. Again, just like Leo and the team is using here. That's the prompt. All right? And that's your small event flywheel. Aim for 10 to 20, go really, really deep. Let's wrap up with the last case study here. How do you get 500 people in a room? Right? How do you really blow it up if you want to blow it up, right? Maybe less quality of leads, but really, really fill it. Right? Well, what we're doing here is interesting. First off, one of the things I tell people, if you want to do a big event and you're nervous about attendees, one way to do it, can you guys think of anyone or the title of a person that will go to any event? Sales? Marketing? No one said it yet. Partnerships? Founders? Students? No one said it yet. Investors? Would a speaker ever not go to the event that they're speaking at? So if you want 300 people in the room, you need 300 speakers. Just give them 5 minutes each, and 6 stages. This is a hack to get going. Eventually you grow the conference, but you want to get a lot of speakers. I use Full Enrich. Take the LinkedIn URL, drop it into Full Enrich, get their name and email. They do this waterfall enrichment thing, which always spits out the highest quality phone number and email. I've tested all the enrichment tools. This one really works for me. I encourage you to try it out. Right? That then allows us to recruit all these great speakers, right, for events and sponsors, investors, etc. We then take, this is key, what happens at a live event? There's recordings, but there's 300 of them now. That's much better than me recording 300 podcasts one-to-one. We're recording every session. Every session should go live on your website. The video, the transcript, the slide deck. Run OCR on the slide deck to enrich the SEO data. The prompt should be, I had this speaker keynote my event, pull all the information out of their deck and their transcript that doesn't already exist online. That should be in your H1 and title tags, the meta description for the keynote recording. That's how you can get SEO value to your event page and sell at your next event. Your eyebrows went up when I said that. You like that though, right? Okay. More eyebrow raises are a good thing, right? So again, that's what we do when we have speakers. Again, we create a little page like this. It works really, really, really well. We use Full Enrich and Perplexity to do this. Perplexity Computer will go to your YouTube channel, pull out all the transcripts plus the URL in a nice Excel file. That becomes your master MD file, and it's how you can train your resource page for your large event. So again, that's literally the script I put into Perplexity Computer after we run our large events that I encourage you guys to copy. This is your flywheel. Full Enrich, Perplexity, Claude. You're basically a live conference as a recording studio with an audience. You can knock out a lot of content in 2 days. Okay? So we'll have a big announcement. If you're like, Nathan, are you investing in large events? We'll have a major announcement on Friday. Watch my LinkedIn for that. But as we wrap up, again, if you are interested in any of this strategy, come talk to me at my booth. I'm right outside, right to the right. But as we wrap up, again, we talked about webinars in terms of how to convert trust to sales, small events, and large events. This all started 10 years ago with this interview with 95 fucking views. Right? Like, that's how it started. You can clap for that. Stay consistent, stay focused. It will pay off in the long run and multiplies. Okay, so how do you get these prompts? Right? We went over these 9 prompts. I also went over 125 slides, right, in 30 minutes. It's a lot of content. Anyone feel a little behind? It's okay. It's okay. I don't have drugs to offer you to make you. It's just you're going to be behind for a second. If you want the full slide deck, I'm putting a full summary up on the next slide. So here's what you do: grab your phones, and then follow these steps. Take a picture of the next slide, post it on LinkedIn and tag SaaStanak, the hashtag Igor, SaaStanak 2026, right? And at Nathan Latka. And I'm going to go up to my room. I almost said my room number. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to my room number and DM you guys all back at 3 p.m. today. The full Google Slides link. The next slide I'm only going to leave up for 5 seconds. So get your cameras ready. If you miss it, you miss it. Event photography, people, this is also a great shot to get from the back because everyone is taking pictures. It makes your event look incredible. So if you want to go get ready for that shot, we're ready. Are we ready for the next slide? It's a full summary. 3, 2, 1. Guys, I just showed you how to capture attention in the age of AI, multiply it using AI, and ultimately convert that into trust and money so you can scale and grow. My name is Nathan Latka at Founderpath. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. Thank you.